So we've seen what has been going on in the past few days in Lagos. In a place like Abuja, it has been on for several months.
Yeah.
And maybe several parts of Nigeria. So apparently there is a price pressure that is going on. And maybe government will be able to do something structured, because right now it's a matter of individual stations trying to put prices on their goods, on their product, irrespective of the fact that the government has not officially changed the pump price of petroleum or petrol product. There has not been any official change of PMS price. But now some people are selling 200, some people over 200, some people 190, all over the place. It is just right that government should step in that place and help to cure this problem. We are suffering, going around. See the queues at all the filling stations.
Yeah.
Something must be done about that.
Okay, try this for size. Kidnappers in army uniform abduct Lagos passengers. Probe begins.
Okay. This was also in yesterday's papers. I'm beginning to think maybe this is yesterday. There was a video that went viral by a gentleman who said he entered a commercial bus going to Yanoworo, and somewhere along the line, number one, he found out that there was a gas that had been released inside that vehicle. But because he probably had some military background
to knock passengers out.
So he spat in his handkerchief and blocked his nose because he smelled the gas. So he wasn't getting knocked off while everybody else got knocked off, except the kidnappers, who apparently brought out face masks, and were wearing their gas masks. It's a very strange occurrence. Some part of that story is also not particularly straightforward, but it is a serious security matter, because from his account, some of the passengers were taken away. He was just, lucky. Should I say lucky? He fought his way out of the situation. So the question is, those people that are taken away, are they with these kidnappers as we speak? Who are these kidnappers? They said they're wearing army uniform. They were speaking Hausa language. All those things require thorough investigation. When I listen to him, anything that has to do with security, I hesitate to cast doubt on it, because it could imperil the lives of others. But the investigations must be thorough so that we ensure that Lagos is secure. Not just Lagos, I guess. Every part of Nigeria is what we're working on. But Lagos has been significantly okay, and we must keep it even better than it is right now.
All right, let's go to your state, which is Osun. 3 days to handover. Oyetola appoints 30 PS. PS would be permanent secretaries?
Yes, permanent secretary. It's a very curious situation. The new guy is supposed to be sworn in. He's supposed to be sworn in, I think, on the 27th or thereabout. And 2 days to that time was when the outgoing governor decided to appoint 30 permanent secretaries. Politicians are very interesting people. And you begin to wonder, why was this not 6 months ago? Not 3 months ago, or not 1 year ago? Why is it 2 days to his exit that he's making this appointment? Is it to cause trouble for the incoming guy? Because if this issue of governing the state is about the people, and somebody else has won the election, what you should do is you should move on. You are already in court. Let the court decide whether you have a case and whether you should be restored. The court has done that consistently in this country, where candidates were found not to have been the one that won the election. They removed the people that were sworn, and they installed the rightful person in the position. So this to me is doesn't sound well. It doesn't sound right. It looks as if this is a deliberate attempt to frustrate the new guy that will be coming in. It is not. It doesn't smell right. Appointing 30 permanent secretary 2 days to your exit. And the sad part is that there might be a legal lacuna that can make it difficult for the incoming guy to remove those people.
All right, let's move to the Punch now. The Punch newspapers will be next this morning. No, I hear the Vanguard. The Vanguard. We must have the Vanguard. We have not endorsed Peter Obi, Dogara aggrieved Northern APC.
You see, this issue of endorsement has become a big issue in Nigeria. So there have been two prominent APC members, Dogara and Babachir Lawal, who have been championing the fact that, look, the choice of a Muslim candidate by their party is not acceptable to the Christians. And they have been at the vanguard of this. What is interesting is a few days ago, Babachir Lawal had said, the Northern Christians have made up their mind that they will be voting for Obi, so they have endorsed Obi. Only for the day after, for Dogara, who is supposed to be the other partner that is championing the same cause, to say, look, I don't know about this, your endorsement too. Could it be that we are not part of it? Essentially, that's what he was saying. So even between these two arrowheads who have been championing the cause against a Muslim ticket, there is already a fight. What comes to my mind whenever I see something like this is that these fights, most of the time, that politicians do champion, is it exactly about us or about them? Because why can these two people not be consistent about their position? These were the guys who have been championing this cause for so long, and they're members of the APC. So at the juncture now, while one is going for Obi, endorsing Obi, the other guy is saying, I don't know what you and your guys are saying. Nigerians should watch that middle. Let us be able to make up our mind based on our conviction as to which candidate will be able to get the job done. Forget about Babachir Lawal or Dogara or their prescription. After all, it's not the man who was said to have used some hundreds of millions of naira to cut grasses. If you were to fell trees, how much will it be?
Or move mountains.
Or move mountains. We don't know. So let's take our decision by ourselves. Look at those candidates, listen out to them, make up your mind, and come 2023, go cast your vote.
All right, this one, PDP crisis. We're still open to reconciliation, says G5 government.
That reconciliation go hard. I think they might have crossed the Rubicon. The way Wike and the G5 had been going around, the kind of some of them are even mundane and almost embarrassing, going around with musical groups and singing all over them. I don't think they will be able to reconcile it at this point. What we might have is the party deciding to move ahead without them. Yeah. It's a costly situation. Don't forget that these are significant. If you come to the Southwest, for example, outside of Lagos State, or your state controls the largest vote outside of Lagos in the Southwest. And if you go to the South, Rivers is a top vote delivering state there. And in an election where there are doubts about whether any of this party will be able to win at the first ballot, then every vote counts more than it has ever been. So everybody wants to be sure that a 100,000 vote here, a 50,000 vote here is not missed. But unfortunately, the way things are going, PDP might suffer greatly. Some votes especially in some of the states. I'm not so sure about how much grasp the Abia governor has on votes in Abia, for example. I think Abia vote will still significantly go to Peter Obi. So it doesn't matter whether he's fighting somebody or he's not. So it's irrelevant.
You are not campaigning. You are not campaigning.
I'm not trying to campaign. I'm trying to analyze the situation based on observation.
All right. Yeah. What about this? Ogun PDP court nullifies Jimmy Lawal's rerun primary.
Yeah. Ogun State PDP is in total mess. The primaries, in fact, it had led to such suspension of key party members in that state. So of course, when party members are suspended, there are court issues about who is actually the candidate of PDP in Ogun State. This is part of it unfolding. Jamilawa had gone to court, and someone has gone to court, and the primaries that produced Jamilawa has been invalidated. There are still more to go in that state as far as PDP primaries is concerned. It's not settled yet.
All right. The APC presidential flag bearer was in the Niger Delta, and he's saying to the Pere of Baramatu, I hope I got that right. He said, tell Atiku to stop running. Politics?
Of course, pure and applied politics. These are the kind of things that they say are those their campaigns, which is why, for me, I wish we could have, in addition to rallies, have this robust engagement platform. But the situation in which these candidates are running away from having engagement, all they want is, they prefer the rallies. At the rallies, the problem with rallies is that it's a one-way communication. It is the guy standing on the podium and just talking. Nobody asks questions, nobody challenges anything. So an engagement platform will have afforded Nigerians to be able to say, okay, you say this, what are you going to do about this? What, apart from Peter Obi, who has been very consistent about attending those platforms, the other guys are running away. They don't want to engage. They prefer the rallies where they talk to people only in one direction.
All right, take your time from us. 14 minutes past 7. This is newspaper headliners.
I think Okwanso has been consistent too.
Okay. Newspaper headliners on the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM on your dial. I have another story here, still in the vanguard. Poor electricity. TCN, Transmission Company of Nigeria, blames Gencos, Discos for grid collapses and all that.
The blame game would not help anybody. It is a shame that TCN, which is the only one that is government owned, because Gencos were privatized, Discos were privatized. In the middle is transmission, which links Gencos to Discos. And that is the one that belongs to the government. That is the owner that is the grid owner. And the grid has been collapsing. And funny enough, we're now hearing from them that the reason they are collapsed, the grid has been collapsing, is because of something that Discos and Gencos are doing or are not doing. This is not the way to go. We just have to bridge the gap and optimize what we have across the entire value chain. The story of how we have generation of 12,000 megawatts, but we can only transmit 5, and Disco can only move 2 point something or 3. We need to put it past us. And whatever we must do to ensure that, anyway, I think it might be a little late in the day for the current government to be able to close out on that. So the new government that is coming in should be able to take it further. That Transmission Company of Nigeria, if we need to also privatize it, not in the same manner in which we privatize the Discos, those Discos were literally sold to friends and cronies. And we did not do it with the right level of patriotism required by a country that wants to deliver power to its own people. I hope we will not do this here in that same way.
We go back to hardcore politics. Court of Appeal dismisses suit against Taraba PDP governorship candidate.
Yeah. Somehow, the Binani, I think that's the name of the woman, has now been declared as the candidate of the party in Taraba. It's a good thing that is going on there. Our people are learning more to use the right channel to enforce their rights. However, it is burdensome on the judiciary.
Yeah.
Can we, for crying out loud, improve on the area of having transparent primaries? If we have transparent primaries, most of these cases we are talking about, we spoke about Ogun already. This is also Taraba. We're just putting avoidable burdens on the judiciary. There's so much to be done already without these distractions. Can the parties please do better and transparent primaries?
All right. Hoodlums raise Benue PDP chieftain's house after car gift from Autumn.
Oh, that's an interesting one, because Autumn himself is a PDP man, So a PDP man has given some PDP people cars, and then Hoodlum decided to go and raid it. Maybe it's a way of the people protesting what they are seeing in the state. Yeah, Benue State is a very curious place where the salaries are being owed and all of that. So the question the people might be asking is you see this man that is owing salary for like how many months? We don't know. And there has not been any much of any visible development in that part of Nigeria. Meanwhile, the guy is dashing out cars to PDP people, obviously as part of wetting the ground for whatever support he may need in the coming election. I would not support violence, a situation in which they will go to these PDP people's houses and start vandalizing things or attacking them might not be the right approach. Can we try protest as opposed to violence? You may not be happy with what your government is doing. Do a protest. Have a protest rather than the violent approach.
All right. Still in the Nation newspaper, Emefiele, inflation rate will drop below 15% in 2023.
It's speculative. There is nothing on ground that says that will happen. So we're going to be watching that space. Is it the redesign note that is expected to achieve that, or is there some things he has seen that we have not seen? Maybe the food inflation, for example, which is a major problem, a major driver of our composite inflation figure. So what does he see about food with all the flooding that has happened? Is he seeing something magically transforming that space and there will be so much food in the land that the food inflation will go down? Or is it the energy that is under serious pressure as we speak? Queues all over Lagos is unbelievable as we are speaking. And the marketers are saying they want to increase the price. And they might eventually have to do that. So if there are food issues, if we have subsidy, PMS subsidy issue, so where is this hope about inflation going to 15% coming from? It's okay to be hopeful, but it has to go beyond hope. There has to be concrete issues to transform that space and make inflation to go down.
A sad one now. Renowned gospel singer and psalmist Samuel Oposo, dead at 51.
Yeah, and he died of that very common killer in this season, in this time. They call it slump and die. They'll say somebody just slumped and died. It was said to have happened in the morning of yesterday.
Yeah.
He woke up, he slumped, and from there, that was it. May God comfort his family. May his soul find peace in the bosom of his maker. For those of us who are still here on the soil, we have to watch out for our health. Most of the times when people slump and die that way, it is attributable to heart conditions. It's heart condition that is capable of doing that. It packs up, and the person just pack up as well. So let's know our numbers, especially people who are above 40. As we're growing older, 14 to 50, we have to know our numbers. You see, our sugar numbers, our heart condition, all these numbers must be at our fingertips, and we must be on top of it to avoid sudden death. Yes, maybe.
Bandits kill 15, injure others in 3 Kaduna villages.
One of the villages, one of the areas is still that Kajuru, which has been very notorious for several years now for all these bandit attacks. It's quite unfortunate because this kind of a situation, if you look at the recently released multidimensional poverty information by MBS, Kaduna State is the second largest contributor to the pool of multidimensionally poor Nigerians. And I will not take it far away from the insecurity situation in Kaduna State, which has remained literally through the current 4 years administration of El Rufai. I think the first 4 year was lighter. The current 4 years has been a hell, and I just hope we can do something about insecurity in that state. If we cannot, like we have seen, the number of poor people will continue to increase. When these issues happen, you see where they happen. It is hardly ever inside of Kaduna. It is in some villages. These are villages where the poor people live. Houses are destroyed, lives are cut short. If we don't do this, more people will continue to slip into poverty, and it has an extended impact beyond those people that are affected. Kaduna State is a huge farming state. So if the farming people are being killed and attacked as they are being attacked, as we have seen, then it will affect food security. So I just hope that the next government will be able to do something about this. I've already given up that something magical or radical will happen with that banditry or header farmer issues under the current government.
All right, let's move to this day. This day newspapers has some stories of interest. U.S. expands eligibility period for non-immigrant visa.
Oh, eligibility period.
Yeah.
For non-immigrant visa. That's an interesting situation. Because non-immigrant visa are just visitors or students. Those are non-immigrants largely. So a attempt to tinker with the eligibility is something very curious. Could it be that the U.S. is trying to curtail non-immigrant visa? That would be a concern. It would be a concern. I don't know why.
Risi, where's your sister?
She's in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah, call her for me.
Baraka, mommy's calling you.
Hey, Risi, Joe, please buy me chill drink from Dogo.
Dogo, you there outside? I beg, help us bring one chill drink, come.
Risi, sorry, please check if it's your daddy that's at the door. Huh? You that your line had been blocked. How did you get the credit that you're using, Ke?
I linked my NIN to my MTN line and got 20k free airtime.
Yes, so link your NIN to your MTN line today and get 20,000 Naira bonus airtime. Visit any MTN center near you to begin.
Mommy, where are you going?
MTN Experience Center, of course. You think it's only you that like good thing, eh?
Terms and conditions apply.
All right, folks. Welcome back. We're still with this day newspaper, looking at some stories making the news this morning. Let's try this for size. Adamu tasks Yabatek on increased collaboration.
Collaboration with who?
And this is having to do with the Minister of Education.
Yeah, Adamu is the Minister of Education.
Yeah.
He's tasking Yabatek on collaboration. I was just wondering, collaboration
With industry.
Oh, with industry.
Yeah.
It makes a perfect sense, but we're not just going to single out Yabatek. What he's talking about has to be done at a systemic level. We have an education system that is not connected to the needs of the industries. So we're producing graduates, the polytechnic or universities, and some of those people are not what the market is asking for. So when you're designing a policy around what Adamu was saying to Yabatek, he has to be systemic. It's not a Yabatek issue. He has to be across the entire system to ensure that what we are producing, the skills that we are teaching people, the graduates we're releasing into the market, is in line with the vision of what the nation seeks to achieve. So if we're industrializing, for example, we say, oh, we're tired of selling crude oil, we want to become manufacturers, then we must be able to produce skills that will support industrialization. If you need engineers, but you are producing graduates of religious studies, for example, you're just creating unemployment. You're not creating graduates. So connecting the skills that are being taught in the school, connecting those schools with the needs of the industry is critical, but it must be done at a systemic level, not at the level of Yabatech.
Okay, hear this one. 13% derivation backlog. Wike's revelation pits Niger Deltans against governors.
Yes, because it'd be like, say,
Did you see
the people did not know.
Did you see this coming?
It was good. It was bound to happen. It appears as if it was Wike that first mentioned it publicly, that they actually received that money. Apparently, the governors were paid these areas of derivation. They took the money. They did not make any noise about it. Nobody spoke about it. So if there were expectations as to how that money could be used to better the affairs of this state, it means that the people were not in the know at all. So a calling is a way of the people calling their governors to accountability. You received this money. You did not mention it. What did you do with the money? And it's a very fair call. All of them should ask their governors. The money was received. You did not make any noise about it. So how did you use it? And I hope that they can get these governors to respond. All of the governors should be able to explain, because we're not talking of a 1 billion here. It's a lot of money that will have been released to these governors. They must account to the people as to how this money was spent.
INEC is warning parties you can't accept more than 50 million naira donation.
They can warn them, but those are part of the laws that I think is mute. You might not be able to enforce it. If you say I cannot accept more than 50 million donation, then I will accept 49.9 million in 50 places. And I will have beaten your rule, because the rule says 50 million. So we have to do it in a better way. But that's what the law says. You can't do more than 50. But the politicians, this is a very easy one for them to beat, and they will beat it consistently. You can be sure of that.
To Imo State now, government is winning war against insecurity in Imo, says Uzodima.
In a way, I think he may be right. Why did I say that? I remember that at a point in time, Imo was very hot. Very hot. Almost on daily basis, it is either one INEC station is burnt, policemen are killed, these are done, this is that. So it was law enforcement agents and other agencies of government versus unknown gunmen within the state. But somehow, I think the news about this event has gone down. Prisoners have been released today and all of that. We're not hearing all of those any longer. Whatever the governor has done that has brought down insecurity dramatically in Imo State, I think it should be sustained. Maybe you should even have further engagement as to making it even better than it is currently. But obviously, from the papers we read, from the news we hear, he has been doing something right to reduce the insecurity in Imo State.
I will leave legacy of inclusive growth, financial inclusion, Buhari pledges.
Well, financial inclusion, the CBN has been driving financial inclusion significantly, and there is no doubt that there has been growth in that area. There has been a lot more people entering into the banking system. We have agency banking. It was during this season that the issue of POSs, where you can do transaction by this POS agent, became more popular. So agency banking has been unleashed on the people. Even in the villages now, you have POS people where people can do their transactions. So there is no doubt that financial inclusion has increased dramatically under the regime. And I hope that the incoming government will further drive it, because to be honest with you, there is still a lot of ground to cover as far as financial inclusion is concerned.
A bit about the World Cup and why not. Senegal sends Qatar packing from World Cup.
Well, an interesting one. I mean, Qatar was the first host country to lose their first match for so long. I don't think in a couple of decades that the host nation has lost an opening match. But Qatar lost his own opening match, and had lost another match to Senegal. Apparently, from all indications, there is no way for Qatar to qualify from that group. It's on its way home. But as a host country, I don't know if that has an effect on the citizens of that country watching the World Cup. There is a lot of interesting things that are going on there. So football enthusiasts will still continue. Citizens who are football enthusiasts from Qatar will definitely not be discouraged by the fact that Qatar is out of the competition. So it's still exciting times ahead with the World Cup. Exciting times.
Because Qatar appears to have struck a first, the first host nation to lose.
Yes, in decades. Yeah.
All right, we go now to the Sun newspapers. Paris Club refund. NGF to explore legal options to prevent illegal payment to consultants.
Okay, this has been on the table for a while now. There is a consultant. Incidentally, the consultant, part of that consulting people is also there are Nigerians that are there. They are saying they have provided a service towards getting the refund, and they want to be paid. And what they're saying is that the governors then committed to them that they were going to make this payment. But somehow, the governors are saying, no, we did not commit to you, and we're not supposed to make that payment. So that has been, the ding-dong has been on for a while. But apparently, the only way to solve matters involving contracts is through the judicial system. So the governors are in court to enforce their own position that that money is not due for payment, that it is more or less like an exploitation. Incidentally, I learned that part of the this consultancy group includes one governor as well. But it's something worth looking at. The amount of money we're talking about is so huge that you begin to wonder who enters into this kind of contract for a payment on money that is already due to you anyway. It's a refund. It's due to you. And then somebody said in the middle of that, I did some consultancy come and pay me this humongous amount. But I hope the court will help to sort this out. It's an embarrassing situation, really.
Ex-President Jonathan tasks West African leaders on a peaceful transfer of power.
West Africa has been facing a bit of trouble in transition from Mali to even Guinea. Equatorial Guinea now has a 40-year-old president who is still contesting. I mean, I said 80-year-old president who has been president for 40 years, but is still contesting to be president. So, and when you look at the pattern of election in that country, you see situations in which the same guy will just win like 90-something% of the vote. So even in those places, there is voting, but there is doubt about the integrity of the transition that has been going on in that place. The other part are places like Mali where the coupists have taken things over. When you create a situation of uncertainty as to the political environment, it affects the prosperity of the country. So if West Africa must prosper more than it is doing, our transition, the political transition must be transparent and be seen to be transparent. So it's a good call from former president who himself is noted to have helped that situation when he congratulated President Buhari in 2015 and marched on. As a matter of fact, he could have decided to take the Gbagbo approach and some other approaches that we have seen in West Africa. So West Africa, and indeed Africa, must migrate away from the sit-tight situation and positions that lead to coup. And let's have transparent transition of government from one to another. It is very important, not just for stability but for economic prosperity of West Africa.
All right. PDP, Lagos Alliance calls for Bode George's expulsion from party.
It's an interesting dimension.
Okay.
When a party is calling for the expulsion of someone who has been chairman of that party in Lagos State for so long, I think I have some clue as to where this might be coming from. It might not be unrelated with the current gubernatorial situation or gubernatorial candidate of PDP in Lagos State. The gubernatorial candidate came in from APC, and there was this viral video in which Chief Bode George was saying, "Look, when this gentleman came, I said, you're going to be governor. Please, this guy is going to be your deputy. Please pick this gentleman as your deputy." And he agreed. So it was some sort of agreement that this other person will be the deputy governor. But when this candidate was going to pick the deputy governor, he picked somebody else entirely. So that sort of created some crisis in the party. And this call, and you can see that Chief Bode George has been aloof about the gubernatorial candidate of Lagos State. So this might be part of the problem that is leading to the call for Chief Bode George to be removed or suspended from the party. I don't think it will stand. Rather, I think it will actually plunge the party in Lagos to further crisis.
President Buhari hails Professor Gambari at 78. Gambari is the chief of staff.
He's the chief of staff. And he has held other positions, I think United Nations representative or something like that for a certain number of years. Is a quintessential diplomat that is well known across Africa, maybe and beyond. And as the chief of staff, definitely that is a primary, more or less like the number one staff of the president. So it's not out of place that the president will congratulate him. I joined the president to congratulate him at 78, wishing him many more healthy and prosperous years.
All right, time to swing the microphone to the listener. If you were in any way imbued by the headlines, time for you to share your thoughts with us. 070 0700 903 903 903. Let's get you commentating on the stories we have shared with you. This is Voice of the People, VOP, and 90.3 FM on your dial. And this is your newspaper headliners. While we wait for the calls, I think we'll share some more stories. Sukuk bonds, building infrastructure, developing financial market. This is from the Debt Management Office, DMO.
It was one of those innovative financing product that has helped dramatically in the infrastructure space. Sukuk bond became popular during this administration. I think he actually came up under the GEJ administration, but it wasn't really deployed as it's supposed to have been. But it has been a major.
It generated a lot of controversy.
Yes, of course, because it's an Islamic product. And you know the way Nigeria is. Anything that has any tone of religion, people will go, and a lot of protests. We've seen that even when the Islamic banking licenses were being issued, and some CAN member came out and said, "Oh, this is an Islamic product. We will not allow it. It is selling the country to Islam," and all of that. All those things are jokes. Those licenses were issued way back.
All right, there's a call from a listener here. Hello, good morning to you. Call is gone. The line is still open. 0700 903 903 903. 0700 903 903 903.
So those Islamic banking licenses were issued then, and the Islamic banks are still here. Jaiz, I think Lotus has an Islamic banking license, and a couple of others still have who do Islamic banking. That has not turned Nigeria into an Islamic nation. So some of these things are just mere alarmist, and they have no basis in truth. The same thing went for Sukuk. You say, oh, Sukuk is an Islamic product. This, we won't take it, we won't do that. At the end of the day, Sukuk has helped tremendously to deliver infrastructure in this country. And several years after it has been delivering infrastructure, our country has still not been Islamized. So they are just unnecessary noise about this. As a matter of fact, there are many Christian investors in the Sukuk bond. So we just have to stop coloring everything in religious garbs.
All right, there's a call here. Good morning to you. Please put your radio out of this, please.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Your name, where you're calling from?
Okay, my name is Oko. Who is on this program this morning? Is this Citizen Joe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Citizen Joe, good morning.
I greet you. And we have Bolahon.
Yeah,
the days here. Yeah.
Okay, God bless you this morning. I was carefully listening to this newspaper review this morning. Please, may I take this morning? Mr. President told us last year that he will never handed over Nigeria to a corrupt leader. And I would want you guys to ask him once again if he really meant what he said. If his answer is yes, please, for all these candidates that are contesting now, could he sincerely tell us, Nigerians, among them who is corrupt and among them who is not corrupt? That is number one.
Yeah, but you must admit it's not the. Hold on, it's not the president's place to tell you that. You have the ICPC, EFCC, and the courts.
Sorry?
It is not the president's place to tell you Mr. XYZ is corrupt. It's the place of the anti-corruption agencies so to do.
Yes, he is not in position to do so, but I'm quoting what he said to Nigerians.
All right, the second issue you are raising. What
so
about what's the second?
That is by the way. Sorry?
The second issue, please, quickly.
Okay, my another thing this morning is about the campaign issue. You know, the people that are campaigning, they are not basing their campaign on the issues on ground. Rather, what we are seeing is jingle. So it is more better that they will come up on board and the Nigerians will exclude them and engage them in discussions so that they can tell us actually what they have for Nigeria. So this going for the on the campaign ground, making jest and talking this and talking that is not acceptable. There's no good society that will accept this kind of thing, except this part of the world. I am of opinion that the media, Nigerian media, should stand up and do the needful.
Yeah, except that you are not reacting to any of the stories we raised this morning.
You know, I think it was one of the stories touched on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you see, what the point is that it was calling on the media to do that. The media has been trying to do that. I'm aware that there was one that was to happen was earlier this week. Yes, Atiku called off, Tinubu called off. They didn't come. So the media, in a way, is trying its best to ensure that we can have engagement with these people, but they are not showing up. They are canceling. They would rather go to the one-way rallies.
There's another call. Okay.
Like I said, at the rallies are okay because they create awareness and all of that. But we have seen that those promises made at rallies are just empty. You've seen that through history. They just talk.
All right, we have another caller here. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning. All right, lost the contact too.
Yeah. So at these rallies, nobody can ask them questions. They are the only one that talk. They will go there, make jest. It's a one-way traffic. They make jest of the other party, call people names, say some bogus stuff and all the rest. They are not engagement. Rallies are not engagement.
But it must be said that politicians in our country are becoming Machiavellian, you know.
In a way, that's it. Yeah. So those platforms that could have been an engaging one. I mean, I saw Kwakwanso on that platform. He came. I saw Peter Obi on that platform. He came. They were sitting for 2 hours taking questions. Some of the questions were coming from the 6 geopolitical regions of Nigeria. Yeah. Yes. So why did Atiku call off? Why did Tinubu call off? Why can't they sit down for 2 hours and have a similar engagement?
It's a matter of choice, as they say.
Oh, I hope so. I hope we just get things better. But they would rather go to platform to where they can go and yab other parties or yab individuals and say things that they've been saying for 20 years and we have not seen any difference in that.
All right, the line is still open. 0700 903 903 903. Let's have you react to the stories we shared with you from the national dailies this morning. Okay. Of course, just to remind you that at 8 we have Citizen Jones this morning, in which we look at the emergence of the new notes, new bank notes. The new Naira notes are here. What momentous significance do they indicate for the economy? We are going to look at that at 8 o'clock, and that should occupy us for 1 hour until 9.
Interesting.
Please join us, you know.
The notes are here.
All right, there's a caller here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Stephen Jones.
I greet you, sir.
Yes, I think your guest is making very incisive analysis.
My what?
I commend it. Very good and incisive analysis.
Thank you.
I mean, Bola.
Okay.
I credit him.
He deserves a medal, right?
Sorry?
He deserves a medal.
Yes, okay. And sincere applause from me. My name is Chuka. I'm calling from Ayobo.
Chuka will greet you. Thank you very kindly. Yeah.
Yes. Let me say this. I have a grave concern about the lockdown we are experiencing in a place like Lagos. No other party can come out freely to campaign. And I think that is a very dangerous trend. If there is no level playing ground for people to campaign without intimidation or threat to their lives, I think we are in for a worst case scenario still in the country, and that would be unfortunate. Again, I wish a body like INEC can look at this issue and make a declaration concerning it. Let people be free. I hear that in some markets in Lagos, people are told that if they don't surrender their PVC, or if they don't vote for or commit themselves to vote for APC, they are not likely to retain their shops. I think this is terrible. Very, very terrible.
Thank you. Thank you very kindly. Bola, you get the impression that our politicians have learned nothing, they have forgotten nothing.
It's not just the politician. What about the citizens too?
Okay.
Because
it's a two-way street here.
Yeah, when you look at the violence, when you look at some of the things we are already seeing in that space, people are still willing, for example, to be compromised. If you still put money on the table now, you can still do some significant influence in the political space. And this is citizens' issue, not even the politicians.
There's another call here. Good morning to you. Please keep your radio out of this, please. Keep your radio out of this. I'm sorry I can't take you. Your radio is interfering. When you get through, please keep your radio out of it. The hallbacks will not make for a smooth business, you know. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
I greet you.
I I greet everybody in the studio.
We greet you too.
My name is Onyemichi. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
All right, welcome.
Thank you. I want to complain. Is it because of the campaign APC want to do in Lagos State today that make all these people, everybody in Ikorodu down here with no open shop, that anybody that should open shop will pay 5 or 5,000 naira. And since morning, nobody opens shop. And they are going ahead telling people that there should no open shop, that everybody should prepare and go to National Stadium to join them for the campaign. Why is like that? Other parties come. Some people come to do their own campaign, and it's not like that. Why is only APC that is doing this to us? Why people
all right,
cannot be
you have
free
asked your
to
question.
do anything?
You have asked your question.
Okay. Thank you. I'm listening.
It's a very... I see it as an unfortunate
that's
situation.
A curious one, yeah.
Yes. And there were complaints along this line earlier during one of the similar rallies or people saying they're doing a walk for the party in Lagos. I am not so sure that issues of rallies and political gatherings should be forced upon people. I think people should voluntarily, if they believe in you, they should show up. Once you have to be compelling them to do so, then it means you're not as popular as you are. And I think it might even be counterproductive. Hopefully, INEC will ensure that the voting environment is as secure as it's supposed to be, and that only one person will go into that cubicle. So if you like, you can stop me from going to my market today. When it is voting day, I will still decide who I will vote for. It doesn't matter whether you force me to close my market. And the government must begin to look in this direction. It is improper. Let people who want to come. Don't force people because you can do it. It's not proper at all.
But we run a country where you hardly punish wrongdoers. And that's
it gets worse if the wrongdoer is now the government.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And this is smelling like a government rascality. How do you prevent market from opening because your party is having a rally? If this is what is going on anyway, I don't know whether that is it. But if that is what is going on, then it's unfortunate.
Another caller here is here. Good morning to you.
Very good morning.
I greet you.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on two.
Your name, where you're calling from?
My name is Nii, calling from Lekki. I'd like to comment on two issues. One is on security and one is on voting, the PVC.
All right.
Now, for the PVC, I've heard people saying that they are being compelled to vote for a party. Now, these are open secret ballots.
Are you able to confirm that yourself?
No, I've had it. Somebody just called you now on your radio saying that why is a party compelling them to vote for them?
Okay.
Yeah. So my own comment on that is that it's an open secret ballot. Nobody will be there to vote to monitor your vote. And you're not accountable to anybody.
On election day, yeah.
Yes, you vote according to your conscience. So that should not be an issue for any discussion
at all.
Then, secondly, on the issue of security and killing. Yes, Nigeria has been witnessing a lot of challenges in this regard. But the way we play it in Nigeria is that we even put our national identity at risk. What am I saying? I just monitored a news item on NBC in the U.S. now. They said 610 killings, mass shooting, happened just as at today in the U.S., which is higher than what we have in the previous years of 600. And what is mass killing? When over 4 people are killed in any shootout, excluding the killer. So if you multiply 4 by 610, you are getting to over 2,440 already. But we are not hearing. A lot of Nigerians are still craving to go to US, even with that high number. So which one is even on the? I don't understand.
Okay.
Then I know, the last thing I just want to say is that, you see, when I was growing up, there's a lot of mass mobilization and ethics being campaigned for on the different radio stations. What you need to do as a citizen.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you.
Why?
Balaho, we want to end on that note.
Well, I think I understand what he's saying, and I quite agree with him. We need to do more in putting the right information about our people out there. Not just the negative thing all of the time, even if the negative things are indeed happening. And I hope we can do that, because this is the only country people like me have. I don't have two passports.
Well, my thinking, I may be wrong. If you are popular in a particular environment, you don't need to mess that environment up.
Correct. You don't need to mess it up.
Allow the train to move, because on election morning they'll still vote for you.
They will vote. That's it. That's it. You don't have to force people to do anything like what the government said to be doing.
Bala, we must end the chat here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
On Saturday next week. Thank you very kindly. This is Voice of the People 90.3 FM on your dial. I'm out of here. Wait for the next show.
In-depth and unbiased analysis on different burning issues in the country, join us on Issues in the News on your number one people's station, Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
You're listening to the number one station,
The Voice of the People 90.3 FM.
It's 80 on 90.3 FM. Number one.
Station has just been upgraded.
This is your number one radio station.
The best radio station to listen to this year is right here.
This is your number one radio station.
90.3. The one radio you tune in on your way home. This is the one.
BOP 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
You're listening to the number one station,
The Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Do not touch it.
90.3 FM, Lagos.
This is your number one radio station.
90.3. The one radio you tune in on your way home. This is the one.
BOP 90.3 FM.
Good morning one more time. This is Citizen Jones, and we go straight to Citizen Jones this morning. And the talking point is simple. The new Naira notes are here. What momentous significance do they indicate for the economy? I hope you got that right. The new Naira notes are in. What momentous significance do they indicate for the economy? Now, a country's national currency is a predominant medium of exchange when purchasing goods and services. In our case, it is the Naira, which will be 50 years old on January 1st, 2023. You recall that it was introduced on January 1st, 1973. Of course, know that the apex monetary authority of our country is the central bank. It has the constitutional role of redesigning or remodeling or refashioning, if you like, of the national currency. If it has the approval of Mr. President, it matters less whether or not the Minister of Finance and Budget Planning is privy to the plan. Conspiracy theorists in our jurisdiction are persuaded about the whole gambit. They say it is not going to do us any good. All right, but I tell you, be it known that the remodeling of the 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira notes is aimed at bringing back large volumes of notes circulating outside the banking system. Again, the economy stands to benefit from reduction in inflation and the excess cash in circulation. Know that people with money buried under the soil would always quarrel with a system like this, because the decision will harm their satanic enterprise. The counterpoint or logic to this whole process is to say that the Naira remodeling holds no significant economic benefit for the people and is a distraction in the midst of serious economic crisis that's bedeviling us. The CBN boss, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, and Finance Minister and Budget Planning, Zainab Ahmed, may bicker for as long as they desire, but the crimes of hoarding and counterfeiting are two harmful viruses against the national currency. The CBN says about 2.73 trillion naira out of 3.23 billion naira of the currencies in circulation are outside of the bank vaults. In addition, the naira is not as secured as it is supposed to be. The 500 naira and the 1,000 naira denominations are easy to counterfeit. Shall we have a conversation here? Of course, let me introduce the discussants. We have Mr. Cyril Abako. Cyril is a communications consultant and political commentator. Cyril, I greet you. Good morning to you.
Good morning, the citizen. Good morning, the listener.
And I have Mr. Akin Fatunke. Akin is a chartered accountant and a public affairs analyst. I greet you, sir.
I greet you, Citizen Jones, and good morning, Nigerians.
So the new notes are here. Officially, they were presented by Mr. President on Wednesday. So what momentous significance do they indicate for the economy? I think the market woman, the man on the street, at the bus stop, they are all asking.
Okay, if I jump in, which I should, I need some real definition of terms so that we don't get the water muddled. By way of speaking, it is a redesign, and a redesign can do three things, basically. Vision in appearance, in function of the Naira itself, and then in content. What we have done basically is to do the revision in appearance, and so that is the coloration, and that's what we have in social media. People coming to say crayons will be in high demand and all that, all just trying to create something. What this is supposed to do, one, de jure is a function of the central bank. The Central Bank Act 2007, A and B, indicates that the central bank has the sole authority and is empowered to change the color, do whatever in a space of 3, 4, 5, some say about 6 years. We haven't had this done for quite a long
20
time.
20 years from the records, yeah.
We must understand and give it to government that they know what they are doing. It's also easy to say that at the end of the day, all put together, it's going to be a lot of hardship on you and I. Very true. There is no pain without pain. The economy has been virtually, and we all know that a lot of leakages that we have in the system is such that no responsible government or authority will open their eyes and allow that to go. I will quickly jump into one of the things that is on social media. If you are redesigning, why don't you go the whole hog? And one of the things that is said is that why don't you change the Arabic inscription? Truth must be told, Arabic is not necessarily Islam, it's a language. We must get that and put that behind us. And government came out and made the point that there are security challenges on the banknotes that we have, apart from what economists call money supply, money in circulation, the so-called MI. So much money, about 84% of all money that is in circulation is outside the bank vaults. We know they are in septic tanks. We know if they are not being swallowed by monkeys, the termites are doing their own bits and what have you. And one of the first few things we had was that politicians, that is tricksters in politics, are waiting to unleash a lot of monies that they have stacked to bribe the electorate. Yes or no, but as economists and people who should know, I can say for sure that part of the things is that if you look at the new Naira notes, a lot of us have not yet seen, but some of us have dug quite deep. You know there are features of these new Naira notes, and I give a lot of kudos to the ingenuity of the technology behind making sure that the feel and the markings there under ultraviolet rays will tell you that we need to mop out fake Naira notes from circulation. The new Naira notes that we have right now, it is not going to be easy for you to go and do a photocopy and then, and then
push it to the system,
which was always the thing that we have always had. And again, at the risk of being stoned at the stakes, my conviction is that this is a step in the right direction. Yes, there might be hiccups in terms of changing and the banks now being under immense pressure, and that in the marketplace people are rejecting the old notes now.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. So for me, in a nutshell, it is a step in the right direction. It is legal. It is not true that it's meant to punish you and I. We can go later into some other nitty-gritties, and I can tell you for sure that the mopping that has been done so far has helped to buoy the exchange rate of the Naira. At November 1, the thing after the announcement on October went to about 800, trying to approach 900 or 1,000, and by the 23rd of November, it's come down to 700, which means it was, artificial.
That's it. Yeah.
And there is a belief that going forward,
okay,
that Naira
thank
will
you
find
for
its
your
level.
opener. Thank you for your opener. Cyril, you need to open as well.
Okay, so Citizen Jones, my take is simple. Statutorily, legally, government was under obligation, ab initio, to necessarily change, redesign and reissue fresh notes on account of
it's either redesign, remodel, or refashion.
Yes, but of course, when
sorry, I've seen the notes. Nothing has changed. The figures are still there, except for the color has changed.
Yes, so these are the issues. Government was under, as I was saying, was under obligation to redesign the its legal tender in a, I think by law they said in a 5 to 8 year window. This is global best practice.
That's it.
But Nigeria had left it, to remain for only so long. Now, so I think that to that extent, there was a necessity, there was a burden on government to do what it needed to do. Some persons had said, like the Minister of Finance had said that the timing was not so auspicious because the exchange rate could shoot up to as high as 1,000 naira by the end of January. She had her fears. Now, for me personally, I do think that apart from the matter that had to do with necessity, which was backed by law, and Mr. Fatunke is here, he's a player in that sector, I think all the other arguments that have been advanced for the redesign are purely administrative. And I do not think that even in the past 15 years or 10 years, government had performed so well in its administrative role as to have prevented the descent of the Naira. And so which again, when I say administrative, we could even say political. I'm not so sure if government has mustered the political will to not only reissue the redesign the Naira, but to actually follow up or follow through. For example, you hear them say things like people have been hoarding the Naira. It is because of poverty. You talked about cashless policy, but people must have money in their hands.
Let me get that straight. Because of poverty, you are hoarding the Naira notes.
What you call hoarding,
okay,
is what people call security. They have to keep the Naira. They have to hold it.
You won't spend it.
Citizen, I'm coming. They have to hold it and keep it. This is the point. Kidnappers, for example, they say they are in possession of money and that the redesign of Naira will discourage them from, and that the FCC was saying that they're going to monitor how money moves within the system.
True, yeah.
But the reality is that, like the Kaduna train fiasco, for example, can you tell families not to withdraw money? My fear is that the policy was good. I mean, from the announcement up until now, when we saw the new notes, at least in pictures, I was wondering if this one, the aesthetics came to look like some anticlimax because we moved the colors of 500 naira to 200 naira. In the villages, you may end up confusing old people. One and number two, no, of course it's a fact. And number two, I was going to make a point just now. The second point was that, like Aken was saying, the aesthetics of it, is what we've seen now. But in practice, I think Charles Oludo also made these arguments when they introduced the polymer notes and so on. But up until did we have that political will and the courage to bust counterfeiters the way the NDL has been going after drug people, for example? We didn't see that as much. So the reality is that 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, if we don't have this, if we're not able to reverse the negativity that went to the then we would have lost.
In other words, in Nigeria, we hardly kick and follow.
No, we don't. We just kick because we need to kick.
Okay.
The much this will do. You saw when people are bringing out truckloads of the old Naira and 500 Naira.
That's it.
Moth eating and so on. It's not good for the system. But we do know that these monies have a reason why they were out where they were. And we are not doing anything to mob them out. Redesigning the Naira is like saying, since we hold the big stick, we might as well wield it. But is that the only thing we could have done? I think that the administrative issues ought to be looked into. When we redesign and reissue, it's fine, but let us go into the admin side of it. And then number two is this. I also want to see us, when Mr. President argued that 3 months was not a short time to reorientate Nigerians about the new notes. Let us back the talk with work.
Okay.
We need to now go out there and begin to conscientize the people and tell them the benefits of this redesign and what exactly does it.
Recall that in his first coming as a military ruler in 1984, new notes came into the picture. You remember 53 suitcases and all that. So these things are bound to come up, you know. Okay, let's talk about currency speculation, which is the act of buying and selling the money of various countries in order to take advantage of fluctuating exchange rate. Currency speculation.
The speculation aspect of currency is one of the real objectives behind what this color change, we call it color change. I still insist that it goes beyond color change. I think it has more of security implications, and they are mopping a lot of monies, okay, outside the banking system, the financial system. And I hear Cyril very loud, very, very loud.
He represents the common man.
Oh, yes. He's as common as ensuring that whatever it is that is common must come with some measure of good sense. Yes, you lose in the streets, but when you get to the roundabout, you gain a lot. Financial inclusion is an object of not just this government, it's best practice all over. I recognize the fact that yes, we need to communicate and communicate and communicate and communicate. Once it was
and orientate.
Once it was that people were talking about tally number. Remember that advert tally number? You take your maths to whatever you create a lot of things in there, and before you knew what was happening. Same with using of car seat belts. People say no, it's alien to our type of life. But we went on the blitz. I agree with Cyril absolutely that the graveyard for strategy in our climb is to be able to follow through. Follow through, lead by example. This is not the time for us to now game the system and I'll be looking for suitcases here and there. And the law must not be a respecter
of anybody,
of whoever. But in strict economic terms, Citizen Jones, and in answer to what you just poised to me, it has actually, at least in the little window that we have seen, thrown speculators into a tailspin. I just told you when the announcement was made.
You mean they were caught unawares?
Not only caught unawares, people rushed to look for the dollars, and then the BDO started asking themselves questions. Wait a minute, if all these Naira are coming to me, and I have a window of a December 15 and a January
to upload,
how am I going to be able to? And then you know what the CBN did? DAVAR. Oh yes, let's now begin to measure how much you can bring in and how much you can do within. And so a lot of monies that are outside the system are not actually generating what I call growth and development. Is perhaps outside the window.
Because if you hoard money and don't put that money into use, you are stopping something.
Not only is it that you are stopping something, you are negatively impacting on the capacity of the economy to grow. And so we can be talking about GDP. We are big. We have this potential here and there. If this financial inclusion and this intrinsic valuation of Naira is outside in there, because then the kidnappers will have a big sway. I do not, for the life of me, sitting here saying that it has no implications, but in the very long run, if you go into some of the nitty-gritties, I think this change is gone beyond just coloration. there are security features that we are having in there. You need to put that Naira note under ultra via raise for you to begin to see that you see CBN in black, but when you put it under ultraviolet, you see it in green and what have you. So at the end of the day, it looks to me that we are solving the problem of 4-5 years down the line today, net present value of money. So for me, speculators are in for a good time. Again, I will not throw my brother Cyril under the bus. He knows what he's saying. He knows what he's saying, and so we should be able to learn from what happened.
On the sides of
we
the bus.
must, the EFCC, the ICPC, and the security agents now must work in cahoots with those in the financial system. We must get the BVN numbers of people who are coming in and bringing all this, and it has a ratchet effect, as we say in economics, to making sure we're able to rake in more of people who are avoiding or evading taxation. For me, it is legal, it is cool, it is expected. We should communicate more, like Cyril says. We should sensitize more. It is not people like Cyril and Citizen Jones that are the targets of what we are looking at. We are looking at people who use perhaps armored tanks or non-armored tanks, or people who have told us that monkeys have swallowed big monies, and then when they opened the belly of the monkeys, they didn't see any money, but they were seen in septic tanks and what have you. And also cooperatively begin to look at what ISWAP and Boko Haram have done so far.
All right, let's take a breather. We have a commercial break. We should be back. But don't forget, the talking point is simple. The new Naira notes are here. What momentous significance do they indicate for the economy? We'll be back.
Risi, where's your sister?
She's in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah, call her for me.
Baraka, mommy's calling you.
Hey, Risi, Joe, please buy me chill drink from Dogo.
Dogo, you there outside? I beg, help us bring one chill drink, come.
Risi, sorry, please check if it's your daddy that's at the door. Huh? You that your line had been blocked. How did you get the credit that you're using, K?
I linked my NIN to my MTN line and got 20k free airtime.
Yes, so link your NIN to your MTN line today and get 20,000 Naira bonus airtime. Visit any MTN center near you to begin.
Mommy, where are you going?
MTN Experience Center, of course. You think it's only you that like good thing, eh?
Terms and conditions apply.
This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
All right, folks, we are back. Don't forget, this is Citizen Jones this morning, and the talking point, the new Naira notes are here. What momentous significance do they indicate for the economy? I have two gentlemen here, Cyril Abaku and Akin Fatunke guesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We talked about speculation.
Yes. And of course, when we broaden the argument, because I'm keenly interested in the political development of our country, if only to the extent that this redesign will also positively impact on the people and negatively impact on vote buyers during the 2023 elections, I will be very happy.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope it does, So that's one key benefit that can be taken away. Number two is that, like I said, it is statutory. It should have been done long ago. I mean, we've had all sorts of counterfeiting joints bust in
Are you telling me?
All kinds of places. People are counterfeiting huge billions. I think there was one that was even caught at Banana Island who was counterfeiting about 20 billion naira. So it's unthinkable.
My trouble is not with catching them, but punishing them.
No, the thing is this: for as long as we find will I say a better way, a better means of cutting them off, the better than going after them, because somebody even made a claim that we do not really know the amount of fake currencies in circulation. It is more than what we imagine. Of course, with the old notes. So it's fine. I mean, sometimes somebody gives you money, cash or something, and you're looking at how dirty
the notes are.
You're not proud. You're not. Yes. You know, there's this peculiar smell. And you're not proud as a citizen that this, you know, the legal tender of your country looks this way. Foreigners come in, they spend the Naira, and they're asking, is this what you people spend in this country for money? So to that extent, it's fine. But you know, the other issues which we cannot also overlook. This is a country, it's a democracy. We will debate every government policy. We have to rigorously look at what government is doing. Our input also matters, if at all we are citizens in a republic. Mr. Faduke has so graciously talked about his expectation for collaboration between the police, security agents, and so on, to also make sure that, you know, this new redesign policy stands and holds what and achieves what it was meant to achieve. That is an administrative issue. Do we really believe that it is going to happen? Are we so expectant? You know, let's even look at Emefiele was appointed under Jonathan after Sanusi had to be edged out of office, and he has served the President Buhari for so long.
Yeah.
For as long as his term has lasted. Sanusi has been in office now for about 8 or 9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But Buhari inherited him.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, successive government, I don't know why it is now he began to think of the idea. That's one. Number two, I'm also wondering.
You won't go to court for that.
No, of course I wouldn't. He is backed by law. But the concerns we have raised should not be swept under the carpet. We must rigorously and vigorously debate them and look at them. Can we do better than we've done before?
Yeah.
Do we now have the political will to for me, and for a lot of Nigerians, what we thought we were going to see with the redesign was not what we saw. What we saw was just a swap of colors. I see somebody just swapped 500 for 200, then added some lipstick to 1,000.
Does it matter?
Let me explain why it matters.
Okay.
But one of the arguments the president advanced, and which was also repeated by the governor of the CBN, was that the redesign of the Naira was meant to preserve our national heritage. Now, if you look Ghana, for example, if you maybe their football club, their national jersey, the Black Stars, you see them rimmed with the Kente Akwaba sort of design.
Yeah.
Nigeria has nothing. We are not using. What's that thing they use in Abeokuta?
I want to announce the time, 8:30. Adire, yeah.
There is no Adire. There's no the zebra of the thief or anything of the Kanuri or a jaw.
Okay.
There is nothing about our culture except that woman that did pottery on a global level that appears on this is the 20 or 15 naira note. Ladi Kwale.
Yeah.
There is nothing substantial. I mean, it's not just about landmarks. What is the new thing we've done to the notes now to show that we are particularly advertising and advancing the national heritage? It is not there.
And that is the truth. We don't trust. Our trust has been thrown under the bus. And
because
so
there's so many conspiracy theorists in this country.
Even when good things begin to come, you begin to say, if these people are saying good morning, and maybe it is night. But the truth of the matter is that if we don't have the political will and administrative will to put square pegs in square holes and punish those that needs to be punished and reward those who needs to be rewarded, we may be throwing the baby away with the bathwater.
Yeah.
The redesign goes beyond coloration. There are security features on the redesign notes. One of them, for instance, is that you see, if you look at it properly, there is the raised prints, there is a security thread, there is a watermark, there is the portrait thing, there is the lettering, and then the denominational on the bus and the river side.
The man at the bus stop does not have the patience to look at all these things.
And don't forget, like Cyril said, and I agree, this really is not against the man at the bus stop. It's on the man at the top who is impoverishing the man at the bus stop.
Exactly.
So cure this headache from the head, then the toenails will begin to fill features. The truth of the matter is that the implications economically are wide and huge. There is the improved value of the naira, the rush for the dollar.
For instance, the fluctuation of the last 2-3 weeks.
4% in 1 week.
Yeah.
And it's a good trend to go. However, like Cyril is saying, so it doesn't now look like the man they took feeding bottle out of him and is making a lot of noise. You must do that in conjunction with so many other things that must be working.
Carry the people along.
Not only carry people along, making sure that other leakages that we have in the system are done with. The other thing is that the control of money in circulation. The CBN came out and told us we have 3.23 million in circulation, of which only 0.5 million is in the banking vault.
That's it.
You can imagine blasting corruption, making sure that it's a super move, and I think we must give it. We trust them or don't trust them. That is a relatively cheap or cheaper way of trying to control all these variables that we have in there.
So I don't forget this. In Ghana, they still spend their coins. It is called the pesewas. Am I right? The notes are the CDs and the pesewas also. Our coins are here. Are they still legal tender?
Because they've lost value.
No. Answer me directly. Are they still legal tender?
Because they've lost value, they cannot be legal tender. They are gone. It's not. And then the costs of printing coins, the cost of printing coins
cheaper
versus when the thing is already lost value. We can't be doing things in aesthetics, and the only way this can come back is when we begin to produce.
Yeah.
When we begin to
and
block leakages.
When we begin to earn foreign exchange.
When we begin to look at cost of governance, people who go somewhere and stay on a particular rock or a mountain or a plateau, just speaking a lot of gibberish and then making a lot of money without adding anything to the bottom line. So these loss of value are in any case. You're still talking about Joseph, I'm going to shoot you. You're still talking about coins. We are talking about cashless.
Okay.
Cashless is, please forget about coins. Let's go technology.
Okay, it's all right. Let's go there. Cashless economy. Cyril, have we gone cashless?
We have not, and we are very far from it. This is the issue I'm talking about. How many Nigerians are banked? Mr. Fatunke is a player in the sector. So how many Nigerians are banked when we talk of unbanked Nigerians? You know,
so we should expand that space, educate, and get them into it. Look, it is a fallacy to always think that it is the market women that are unbanked. People who are lettered, people who are rogues and corrupt, they go
because they didn't want to.
They circumvent the banking system, and part of it also is to be able to evade tax. The point is, Nigeria is a fintech A1 country. We are known in the West African sub-region. In fact, we've won accolades and awards. If people are outside the banking system, we need to make life a little bit much more easy. Cyril, we had this same argument when we are going to go into mobile telephones, that our villagers, cyclists and people out there will not be able to get in there. In no time, your mom and your dad in the village, even those who are physically challenged, they begin to use mobile phones.
I think I was on the side of having mobile telephones.
So
now the argument is this. For example, when you have huge amounts of money, the CBN governor said 85% of current circulation is outside of bank vaults.
Yes.
And I want to think that a sizable portion of that, well, so help us God, maybe with kidnappers.
Many, I can tell you for sure, many are in graves, many are in septic tanks.
So when you
I hear kidnappers prefer whatever they get in the new notes. That's a tall order.
Now the fact is this. Now the issue is this, and that's where I was going. It may only be a matter of time. If we don't deal with the root causes, it may just be a matter of time Because when people are kidnapped in Kaduna, for example, and they say bring money, you can't be speaking English there. They say bring money, you bring money. So it's 1 year down the line that you must take care of these issues. Even when they talk of hoarding is even used loosely, citizen, because there are those who keep it for the rainy day, and for good reason. There are those who just know that
even when the weather is
there
clear.
are those who just don't who would. It's a psychological thing in economics that some people would just prefer to hold their money in their hands. It's economic behavior.
So they keep speculating.
No, it's not for speculation. It's economic behavior. There are those who keep, like you said, the elites. They are indicators, okay? There are people who want. So there are different reasons why people keep money. If you bracket everybody into hoarding, it's understandable, but it is used loosely. And I have to state it again that I am not opposed to the redesign of the Naira, but that having to fix in 7 years. So when you introduce it 6 months to go,
there should have been a gradual build-up.
There should have been. We should have known and seen that for a fact. Because the fact is this: the new Naira you issue could also fall victim to what the old Naira faced if you don't do something differently.
We had to introduce the shock element.
Are we going to be doing that?
Well, we introduced the shock element according to government because they had a target. And if you made the thing a bit loose, the politicians will beat you to the game.
Please.
You will now have the hand of Maradona scoring goals.
I didn't say delay or stretch the window for the redesign of the Naira. That's not what I said. I'm talking about the administrative skill and dexterity that should make us believe that when they redesign the Naira, it will, even if you did it in 2 weeks, it's fine. But how are we sure it will not fall to the same problems that the old Naira that the old notes also faced?
Don't you?
Which are still administrative.
Gentlemen, don't you at this, both of you, don't you at this point yearn for the National Orientation Agency of yesteryears? It will go to town, like the town crier.
I yearn for MAMSA, not NOA. MAMSA, Mass Mobilization for Self-Reliance and whatever.
Social orientation. Yes. In fact, MAMSA, the one that orientation agency, all looking at what to call our attitude. Our attitude. Unfortunately, government needs to understand
our
this.
Attitude will die hard.
Clear. People don't trust you. People believe that for every move that you make, you are already making some kind of counter moves. So we need to see you lead by example. We need to see you punish within. Punish within. Let's be seen to punish within.
Because the laws are there.
The situation is such that illicit monies that has flowed out of this country came back. Say, for instance, under this present regime, and we are not hearing anything.
Yeah.
The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, yes, he has 4, 5, 6 months to go, still needs to demonstrate will. We have ASWAP or Boko Haram that have been named outside the shores of Nigeria. They are on your desk. You are not making any use of, at least seemingly making
substantive move.
So the truth of the matter is that even when we think that this is good for us and we see rain falling to weather our crops, we think that maybe it is acid rain. So we need you to work a bit much more to at least bring this in.
Let me also nudge you at this point, because you are the only economic egghead here. Now, why can't we do without speculators, the so-called black market and all that? Because in their United Kingdom and their United States, they hardly bandy their currencies as we do here.
And spraying at parties and what have you. Again,
and new notes would never come until you are burying the dead, or you are holding a party, and the new notes will come, and you buy them.
Orientation.
Because the very week it was released, Citizen Jones, by weekend, I think it was just a day after, and there was a party somewhere. Somebody came and said that they couldn't believe what they saw. The notes were cascading like from a waterfall. And they said, these new notes, where did they come from? For me, such loopholes must be blocked, and it does not appear to me. Sorry, sir, let me just bring this in. the CPM governor was given example of where we were in 2015, thereabout, to where we are now. Is it that they did everything they could and it still went this bad? Or they didn't do anything and we got to this point and now we want to use redesign as some kind of elixir or escape route to just clear? So if you've not done, don't undo what you should be doing and then do what you shouldn't be doing. The redesign, like I said, I welcome it. It's long overdue, but the corollaries, the attendant issues. Are you also going to address them? I think on that point, myself and Mr. Fatuke are on the same page that it is more than just reissuing notes. You must do well to fix attendant issues. Otherwise,
the regulators
will be dead on arrival.
Will have to stand up and do
exactly
their tasks. And if you are not fit for purpose, there should be a strong political will to remove you from there. And by extension, if you are the chief executive, we have a chief executive for Nigeria, and you are not performing because those under you are not performing, then you don't deserve our accolades. We tell you point blank that you have really not done well.
Secondly, sometimes you wonder if it is true that a team is as good as the captain.
Oh yes, and if the captain has no C, and he has replaced his C with a corruption and corrupted tendencies, then we will be going downhill. Cyril is making a point here that the administrative lapses that we had over the period that goes even beyond this present regime needs to be fixed. Don't forget, Citizen Jones. Hopefully, they say they are going to reintroduce history and that we can know some of the things that is
after a 13-year.
If you remember, in 1965, 66, at the outbreak of the Civil War, silently 67, silently, we had a minister of finance. I don't need to mention names. And when they saw there are issues concerning the Nigerian Naira notes, the Biafran notes, and stuff like that, something similar to this was done. And it was done so clinical. We never had
any hiccups
at that time that some of those leakages were going out the way we see to be going out now. We really need a very strong and courageous political will to be able to resolve this. The other thing I want to...
Sorry, do you import political will?
You must imbibe political will. You must reward political will that are positive. You must punish political will that are negative. We know that in China, Nigerians are going to China and they are getting one kind of shoot gun now. Yeah. And that shoot gun is such that you put Naira notes in there and then you go to parties and then you begin to shoot. Those are not the things.
A quarter to nine, time to open the telephone line.
Okay.
Just so the listener may be a part of it. The new Naira notes are here. So what momentous significance do they indicate for the economy? Are you persuaded by the arguments of my guests here? Are they disappointing you? Let's get you talking. Siri, you were going to say.
Yes, I was going to say that.
0700 903 903 903. That's the line on offer.
Yes. 1967, Chief Obafemi Awolowo was Nigeria's finance minister. And back then, the CBN was right under the finance ministry. It was under the supervision of the CBN governor reported to the finance minister back then. Now,
sorry, we have a listener. Good morning to you.
Good morning once more, Citizen Jones.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to the gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me ask this question. It will appear that they just invalidated the use of coin in an economic environment. I know that in Britain, you can slot in coin and get a cup of coffee. You can also get green for chocolate at the bus stop or train station. So I do not think it would be proper for us to say, because we have points in local denominations, we cannot use coins in the Nigerian environment. That's number one. Again, when we talk about money being stashed in balls or septic tanks, I am aware that Nigerian Naira is traded in Republic of Benin. So that I don't forget, let me mention my name. I'm Chuka today.
Yeah, Chuka.
From Ayobo.
Yeah, I
yes,
agree to you. Yeah, again.
And then again, I want them to counter me. Is there a possibility that we will have a mad rush for the dollar before the January 31st deadline, and that will weaken the Naira? And then lastly, I want them to counter the idea that a kind of counterfeit printing might have started for the new currency that we have. And then what do you think that the government should do about it? Okay, it could be in the Middle East, it could be within Nigerian environment. You know what I'm talking about when I do.
Thank you, Chuka. Yeah. Yeah.
So perhaps when I land, Mr. Akin can, because those issues came from him.
Take up matters. Yeah.
Yes. So I was saying that finance minister back then was the person to whom the CBN governor was reporting. So all of those things could have been easy. Now, today we have a situation whereby the person who oversees financial policy, not fiscal financial policy, is at loggerheads with the person introducing the new currency notes. Mr. President didn't do anything about it.
The law, the arrangement, the law.
I know what the law says. The senior governor reports to the president.
That's it.
What was the finance minister thinking when she went public to denounce the CBN? What was she thinking? I would have expected that as colleagues reporting to the same principal, she could even have reached out to the CBN governor. She didn't do any of that.
If you're here go to no one go market and you want sell them, you go sell them.
But I mean, so what did Mr. President do about that?
All right.
The problem shouldn't even come internally. It should come externally so that they can now address it.
Yes.
Chuka dropped something in the plate.
He dropped about 3.
Yeah.
I insist. These are wholesome comparing what happens in America, what happens in France with us. It's good to think. But de facto, we are not there. There, things work. A coin has good value. A coin in Nigeria today.
Let me take another call.
Very low value.
Hello?
Please keep your radio out of it, or I'll reject taking your call.
Hello, good morning, sir.
I beg, no, go back your radio. Yeah, your name, where you're calling. Please leave your radio out of this thing.
Okay, better.
Please.
Sonny. Hello?
You have refused to keep your radio out. I'm sorry, I can't take you. Yeah, go on.
And so because of the intrinsic value, and it's the reason why I said, yes, we are going cashless out there. If you have to buy something
another
that's
call
over...
is there. Sorry, okay. It's the time of the listener.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning. Are you there? Okay. He's not quite ready for us.
And so if you look at the cost of going to mint notes versus the kind of value we are going to get from it, it's going down the drain. I'm not saying per se that if the economic improves...
All right, let's try this. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, sir. King Jones.
Keep your radio out of it, or I won't take your call. I'm sorry.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Your name, where you're calling from?
We talk about this,
your name, where you are calling from?
Sonny from Butemeta.
Yes, Sonny, you are on.
From Butemeta. Hello?
Please keep your radio out of it, or okay.
It's obvious anxiety. Please, let's just keep it.
No. I can. The hallback will interfere with what we're doing.
I understand that. So maybe it's a long distance race. For now, here and now, financial inclusion is such that what we are trying to look at will be at least cost. So that's number one. He also made a point about a rush for dollars.
Yeah. Just a minute. We rub this in. Good morning to you. Hello, caller. You are on air now. Good morning. No luck.
My friend Achike also talked about a rush for dollar. Of course, naturally that will happen. But if you get onto the commanding heights, and like I said, you plug quite a number of loopholes, there is the likelihood in what Cyril is saying, we have the administrative will to be able to make sure when we see you doing the wrong things, you are caught and then you are punished?
According,
I think.
Let me rub this in. Hello, good morning to you. Lift up your voice. All right.
So it's only God Almighty at the end of the day with good trusts, and the deficit is such that we are leading by good character and example, that we will not have the kind of wrong.
Hello, good morning to you. Good morning. Hello. All right.
So if it goes artificially high, as it went artificially high between November 1 and then came down substantially, about 4%.
So let me try this. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Please keep your radio out of this.
No, there's no radio there.
All right, your name, where you're calling from, quickly. Go on.
Mr. Sunday from Edukebeta.
All right, then, you are on.
I want to speak on this redesigning of Naira notes.
Go on.
See, the redesigning, in the language I understand about redesigning, is changing some certain things in that Naira note. But this thing did not happen like that. It's only the changing of the color, painting. That's what we see there.
No.
What is the design inside again?
Okay. I thought you were listening to us.
No, everything that was there before was still there. But only the color, the coloration of the Naira, that's what they do.
But that's a change now. It's a change. And do you think you can identify the security features of the note? Are you able to? The security features.
I've not physically gotten the Naira myself, but what the
will
feature
get to
I
you.
saw.
If you get money for bank, the new notes will come to you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
So it is artificial, it is speculative, and then when we're able to put all this together, I do not think, and I appreciate Achide's fears. Do we have the will to be able to do all what we need to do and then increase production? Our import dependence is also part of what we are talking about here.
Yeah.
So we need to put that together and do. And it's not difficult. I have been in fintech.
Okay, let's take the last commercial break here. Okay. We'll come back and wind up. Please stay with us.
News with no bias.
He has a fundamental right. He's a professor of law. He can protest, but then you should tell Nigeria.
News with no bias.
Risi, where's your sister?
She's in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah, call her for me.
Baraka, mommy's calling you.
Hey, Risi, Joe, please buy me chill drink from Dogo.
Dogo, you there outside? I beg, help us bring one chill drink, come.
Risi, sorry, please check if it's your daddy that's at the door. You that your line had been blocked. How did you get the credit that you're using, Ke?
I linked my NIN to my MTN line and got 20k free airtime.
Yes, so link your NIN to your MTN line today and get 20,000 Naira bonus airtime. Visit any MTN center near you to begin.
Mommy, where are you going?
MTN Experience Center, of course. You think it's only you that like good thing, eh?
Terms and conditions apply.
This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
All right, folks, let's begin to wind down now. Akin, how do you close?
Chike Chude's points are germane. My dear Cyril's points are germane. You speaking the minds of virtually most Nigerians. But I say that at the end of the day, not doing something is riskier. It's riskier than at least making sure that we do things
Not,
in the right direction.
not doing the right thing.
And not doing the positive things.
Yeah.
I was just going to make the point that I've been in fintech. Many things we thought was impossible under our notice are the things that Nigeria is exporting right now as we speak. And then, for crying out loud, regulators must do their work. The CBN governor, unfortunately, because of some of the baggages that we already had, should be seen not only to regulate, to punish and reward those who do bad and those who do good.
All right, Cyril, how do you bury this?
So the new Naira notes have been redesigned, and we're going to be having them in circulation from December thereabout. We can't change anything about that. But if on election day we start seeing people using those same notes to buy votes massively, we know that this policy has come dead on arrival, and it would have failed woefully. I think we should keep our eyes on that.
Okay, that will just about do it for this edition of Citizen Jones this morning. The program makes to look at contemporary Nigeria, and then we look at contemporary issues, deal with them contemporarily. I want to thank Cyril Abaku for coming. Thank you, Cyril.
My pleasure, Citizen.
Akin Fatunke, many thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
And of course, the man at the console, Kastmer, is the man at the console. Many thanks for your time. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. Good morning.